Virgin River has finally returned to Netflix after a long wait, but it doesn't seem like things are as good as they once were. With Season 4, some keen Virgin River fans have spotted a major plot hole, and it's safe to say that they aren't happy about it. But let's reel things back a bit. Is it really as bad as everyone thinks? The supposed plot hole that has everyone up in arms begs the question, what happened to Preacher when he was out in the woods? I mean, we all saw him asleep, but when did he wake up and what unfolded after that? Let's just say that people on Reddit had a lot to say about it all. The fans were eager to point out a puzzling feature of Colin Lawrence's Preacher character and his storyline.
The funny thing about this character is when I had read the material and I saw that was so we're like this, Preacher and Colin. I'm a big chef type of foodie type of guy. I love to cook. I think, one of the things I'd like to have on that menu, maybe you should put on there, is my ribs.
The fact that Preacher was immediately back in the kitchen playing cheerfully infuriated a lot of people, and for good reason. The fans felt that they, as devoted viewers, should have the right to know what happened while he was unconscious. Some folks were even confused since they'd forgotten the whole Woodland incident. And from the looks of it, the fans weren't the only ones who forgot. The writers are also acting like the incident never happened. And I don't know about you, but it's a little frustrating to say the least. I mean, having the writers completely ignore important plot points is a bit iffy, don't you think? But that's not even the only question. Many have also been asking why the Preacher was still there. He sees an old friend of Paige's who says she's moving out of town permanent and wants to say goodbye to Christopher as Season 3 comes to a close. The two drove to the clearing where they knew Paige was hiding, but Preacher insisted on speaking with her first. His friend picked up a Pepsi for him at the store, but as they got closer to the woods, he started to feel odd. That's when it hits him that he's been poisoned by a supposed friend, causing him to pass out in the wood. Paige's friend just grabbed his phone and fled after leaving him unconscious on the ground. Plus, why did Preacher even consent to the drive? Come on, we're all adults here, or at least we wanna be. I feel like he should have been smart enough not to drive along with someone he doesn't even know. This is a lesson that kids are literally taught. Remember stranger danger? So far, it's been determined that Preacher was presumably drugged before being left to perish in the woods. But that's not all. The fans also have another question, and that's why he would have agreed to this spooky journey in the first place. He actually believed he was aiding Christopher and Paige in their reunion, but what he was really doing was helping Christopher's dad abduct him. It's assumed that Christopher is still with his father Wes at the start of Season 4. So did he really need to be abducted by the Preacher in the first place? It's got everyone scratching their heads in confusion. Technically speaking, the show's creators, writers, directors, and everyone else put a lot of thought and research into it. But it appears that the Virgin River team will need to consult and rely on superfans to help them out, since they've discovered another storyline flaw that just doesn't follow actual rules.
I do, yes. Virgin River is one of my favorites. Obviously, I think you guys have the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad you loved it.
Yes.
I can see behind you. We got lucky. We did. We 100% got lucky. We had never met.
Before you're too confused, I'll clarify some things right now. Those who saw the final episode of Virgin River Season 3 are aware that Charmaine is Jack's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his kid. She chose to wed Todd. Sherman is vindictive and determined to get revenge on Jack for rejecting her love. So she and Todd have threatened to uproot the twins and seek full custody in order to completely cut him off. This is despite the fact that they have serious misgivings about him. Brenda Lindsay, a Reddit user, counters that this is simply an actual solution or even an alternative. Given that California laws prohibit this, it shouldn't even be an actual concern for Jack. Virgin River is set in California, so they'd have to abide by state laws. The Reddit poster claimed that under California law, paternity may be established with a straightforward DNA test that is conducted prior to the birth of the child. And so this essentially ends any custody-related legal disputes. It's unclear why the show focuses on court cases that lasted a year and cost thousands of dollars. Until it can't be proven that the father is a jerk, a father in California has 50% custody of his or her child. Plus, he's compelled by law to pay child support. So it appears that either the authors were unaware of this need or that they may have had more pleasant surprises in store for fans. I sincerely hope the latter. Speaking of surprises, the season 4 finale was definitely full of some, especially the whole situation with the baby. By the very end of Virgin River season 4, the father of Mel's child was eventually revealed Jack. All indications were that he was the father of the child. The pair finally agreed to have the test after learning that Mel's ex-mother-in-law wants custody of her embryo. Even though Jack initially had no interest in finding out who the father was, adorably, Jack and Mel got engaged before learning of paternity, demonstrating that they are truly committed to one another. But there wasn't really any question of this in the first place. The twins Jack has with Charmaine, who make up his other parental issue, are not so legitimate. She claims she's being punished for lying and that Jack isn't the father of the baby after inviting Jack and Mel to her house due to a frightening medical emergency. It's still unclear who the twins' father is or what part Todd plays in this because season 4 ends there. Yup, another great cliffhanger from the river. Still, this may possibly be, dare I say, good news for Jack and Mel despite the lie. Fans also got some clarity on the whole Christopher and Vince situation. He and Paige are finally safe. I definitely breathed a sigh of relief here. Paige and Preacher put a stop to Vince's menacing hold on the family in the 4th season's finale. He broke up the exchange when Vince insisted that Paige give herself up in exchange for Christopher's security and killed Vince before he could hurt Paige. Is Vince indeed dead or is he only unconscious? There are still many unanswered questions. Will Will's death be blamed on Paige, Preacher, or both? But for the time being, it's just important that Paige and Christopher remain secure. Despite surviving this close call together, it seems doubtful that Paige and Preacher will be together forever, especially considering how strongly Preacher voiced his desire to begin a relationship with Julia. In episode 10, he states, "When Paige left, I understood what I was missing. Someone to share my life with. The moment I saw you, I felt compelled to shoot." The numerous twists in this season have made it quite entertaining. Fans are eager for another season after this one. But exactly when is season 5 of Virgin River? Well, it was initially scheduled to start filming in March 2022. It was then postponed to July 2022, but even those dates were flexible and ultimately changed. The delay's cause was unknown, though Alexandra, who plays Mel on the show, said in a video clip that she preferred summer filming since it's more enjoyable than winter in Vancouver. Filming for the season has been completed, and it's expected to drop in the summer of 2023. Guess fans should look forward to a bit more of a wait before they'll get the 5th season. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the ridiculous plot holes in the 4th season of Virgin River? See you in the next one!